A very warm welcome to all of my students to my YouTube channel Shikshangan Senior. Today a new journey will begin. That is, a new journey will begin from the part of my channel. That is, going to start the classes of IGNOU Masters Program classes, Master of Arts in Education. So there a separate playlist has also been created in my channel to get updates about my classes, class videos and shorts. So without doing any delay, so please subscribe my channel as soon as possible. And today we will start the classes of Masters Program on education subject. So before starting the class, I want to say one thing, that in the previous session of IGNOU's Masters Program, there was only 5 or 6 course codes was there. One is MES 11011, first, second one MES 012, third one MES 013, fourth MES 014, fifth MES 015. Under that, two books were available, volume 1 and volume 2, and same in case of MES 016, volume 1 and volume 2. These two books were available. So previously, there in the previous session there were 6 course code in the first year, but now apart from this 6 course code, another one new course code is being included in your master's program, that is MES 056 Educational Technology, which we are going to discuss today. So we will start our discussion from block 1. Total 3 units are there in the block 1. So today we will discuss unit 1 from block 1, concept and scope of educational technology. So let's move to the discussion. So why this unit is being designed for you, educational technology? Because in today's scenario, we live in the world of technology. We became dependent on technology. Whatever the aspect is, whether it is in case of official work, whether it is in case of research, whether it is in case of making any data in the marketing field, or any accounts related issue, or any educational videos, or any whatever educational purposes are there. So we take help of technology, even not only in case of education or other, in marketing, for preparing marketing data, for preparing the financial data for respective company, or any research paper. We also use technology in our daily life also. In our daily life, if we want to know about a small issue, very smaller things related to our personal life, we take help of technology. So how this technology helps us to get the benefit of its use in our daily aspect, how it enhances the quality of an activity, or how we can get to know more about education technology, that will be discussed in this unit. So first of all, we use the term technology in our daily life in each and every moment. So use the term from our perspective, but whenever we use this term technology, it is essential to know about the definition of technology. So what is this technology? The technology refers to the systematic application of scientific technique to achieve practical ends effectively. Now what is this technology? This technology is a systematic application. Its application occurs in a very systematic way by using scientific techniques, by not using the unscientific techniques or other some techniques. No, it uses to apply technology in a proper way. It applies their scientific techniques for achieving any practical ends effectively, to achieve its practical ends, to achieve a finished product in a very effective manner. This is called technology. And what is this education? Education is the process of behavioral modification, socialization, and harmonious development of human personality. Now, education refers to the process of behavioral modification, because we humans are a socialized person. We live in a society. So to live in a society, a proper well-maintained behavior has to be followed. Behavior mechanism has to be followed by us, and we have to act according to that behavior. So if any mistakes or any misconduct is noticed in our behavior, so what we can do, what we should do, we should modify our behavior. The misconduct or the malpractices which are being noticed, which will be noticed in our behavior, that should be modified. So in this modification process, who helps in this modification process? Education. So that's why education is regarded as a process of behavioral modification, socialization. As I previously said, that we are a socialized person, we live in a society. So to live in a society, we have to be socialized. We have to prepare ourselves in such a way so we can get accustomed to societal norms, regulations, and harmonious development of human personality, and also a proper development of human personality. Because if the personality of a human being is not developed in a proper way, then he or she cannot become a good human being. He or she will not be able to get accustomed with the society, with the rules and regulation, and with the other aspects of their life in the near future. So this harmonious development of human personality this harmonious development process, this development process is being supported by education. So if we combine these two terms, education and technology, what definition we get? Hence, education and technology is the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving academic performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. So if we combine these two terms, education and technology, we came to know that it is the study and ethical practices by facilitating learning and helps in the improvement of academic performance by creating, using, and by managing appropriate technological processes and resources. So this is the definition of educational technology. Now next let's see what is there in the next point. Three approaches to educational technology. There are some approaches towards educational technology. Now, what are these approaches? First is hardware approach. Because listen, whenever we use education technology, the term technology is there. So the technology cannot be complete without using this, without using electronic gadgets and all electronic gadgets and hardware devices, software and system. So without these three things, education technology will not be complete. It will remain incomplete. So let's see what are the three approaches to educational technology. First approach is hardware approach. The application of physical sciences and engineering principles to develop electromechanical equipments like projector, television, computer network and hardware gadgets. So in the hardware approach, what we see, the application of physical sciences in those who have computer application previously, they can relate that the application of physical devices, the device which we use physically by touching, we use by, which are being used by a human being, that is regarded as hardware. So maybe my definition may be wrong, so if anybody knows the correct definition, then they can comment on my channel. I will see there. Okay, let's see the application of physical sciences and engineering principle. Application, the application of the sciences, physical sciences, because we all know that those who study physics in the school level, they may relate with that there are several principles and laws are being followed in case of physics to for performing any sorts of experiment. So same in case of hardware approach, the application, the physical sciences which are applied and the engineering principles which are applied to develop, for developing some electromechanical equipments like projector, because projector, today's scenario we use projector in each and every aspect, whether it is in case of conferences or in case of any video presentation or audio video presentation or whatever else. Projector is used uh, in today's scenario. The use of projector is very important, especially in case of education. Projector, television, computer network and hardware gadgets. Computer networks, so computer networks, several networks are there, and hardware gadgets which are available. So several hardware gadgets are developed by using the principles of physical science and engineering. So this is the hardware approach. Now next comes the software approach. What are the software approach? Derived from behavioral sciences and psychology principles, it focuses on lesson design, instruction and theories of learning to formulate teaching learning methods. The software approach, these are derived from the behavioral sciences and psychology principles. In psychology also, there some principles are also being followed, and several theorists are also there, those who framed some principles according to their perspectives for the sake of human beings. So this approach, this software approach focuses on what? Lesson design, designing of lesson, how the lesson will be designed for a learner, how their course structure will be divided, what will be their curriculum, how this lesson will be executed, etc., etc. These are this there have given focus has been given there. Instruction, what will be the way of instruction, not only the way of instruction, the medium of instruction, which is very important, so that learner can able to understand. Then theories of learning theories, which is used for formulating the teaching learning method. And in case of software, I also want to add one thing, that in the today there are several software are available which are pirated. Some pirated softwares are also there. Uh, so basic for using in electronic gadgets to fulfill the purpose. So before using any sorts of software, uh, careful attention must be given to that. And also one thing, the authenticity. Whatever software you are using today for your purpose, that is whether it is authentic or not, that must be checked by a user, so that in the near future they don't have to face any sorts of problem or any virus attack in your electronic gadgets. So it has to be kept in mind. Okay, next comes system approach, an integrative problem solving methodology which plans, designs, builds and evaluates the complete teaching system as a unified entity. So what we see in system approach is an integrative and a problem solving methodology which makes a plan, makes design, builds and also helps to evaluate the complete teaching system, input, process, output as a unified entity. Okay, so in the pre-mechanical era, there was primarily face-to-face and oral communication, writing instruments, scrolls and real physical object to transfer human knowledge. So in the pre-mechanical era, there was primarily oral communication. Face-to-face communication was there. Writing instruments was there. Writing instrument like a pen, pencil or whatever. Like today, in today's scenario, we notice that pen tab, digital pens, digital board for making any sorts of educational video, educational content. Uh, so in the pre-mechanical era, that facility was not available. So in that time, face-to-face communication was there and real physical objects are transferred for human knowledge, and the objects which were used were real. Today, in today's perspective, we use as real object, availability of real object is not possible every time. So that's why we show some pictures of a respective object or any model or any cutout, whatever, that was being showed to a learner to transfer the knowledge. But in the pre-mechanical era, that facility, real objects were showed for transferring the knowledge. Next is mechanical. In the mechanical era, now there starts the emergence of printing press. Print media today print media is also used equally, but we all human beings got busy so much, so we don't give minimum time to access the print media. So what we do, we whatever study material we get, we used to study from electronic gadgets, whether from phone, whether from tab, or whether the soft copy is in PDF format or what format, whatever format it is being provided, we study that. Each and every individual do this. So very few people are there, those who access the hard copy of any study material. So from this mechanical era, printing press started to emerge. Books, chart, standardized visual aids solved retrieval and storage of knowledge. Books, use of books were started that time. Charts and standardized visual aids were used to solve retrieval and storage of knowledge. For storing knowledge, these visual aids, chart were being used. Next comes electronic age. Now, in the electronic age, there is deployment of electronic media such as photograph records, phonograph records, radio broadcast, and television to reach wide masses. Nowadays, several radio channels was also being there related to educational class, regarding relating to the classes of various subjects. So when any individual doesn't get the chance to attend school physically, to do the classes in a regular way, they are or when the audience is, or whenever the audience is in a huge mass of audience is there, so for them radio broadcast, help of radio broadcast is also being taken. And still now in today also radio broadcast also occurs in case of various subjects, like whether it is science, whether it is arts, whether it is engineering or whatever else, radio broadcast still now happens. And television is also being used to reach a wide mass of audience, so that everybody can get the opportunity to study, to they can gain a basic knowledge, so that it can help them a lot in the near future, so that they don't have to suffer from any sorts of discomfort in the near future. That's why the help of radio broadcast and television are also used as a part of education. Now comes digital era, which we are going through, which we use in each and every moment. Sophisticated computing, interactive web 2.0 tools, online databases, e-learning platform, and instant global communication. So in the digital era, everything has become sophisticated. Now everything is being, every content, every video now is presented in a very sophisticated way by using interactive tools, interactive web 2.0 tools, online databases. Now today each and everything is available online, so database is also available. E-learning platform, there are several e-learning platforms are also there, like Coursera, Swayam, etc. Several e-learning platforms are there. And what happens due to accessibility of this platform? Instant global communication. Due to this availability of this platform, you can communicate instantly. Whether if you have any query or you have any question, if you want to know anything about a particular topic, then you can communicate instantly with the esteemed faculty member. So this helps us. So in this way, digital era helps us to take education in a more smooth and very hassle-free way. So, okay, so as this, so today I will end my discussion here. So as this is a new chapter, so and you are completely new candidates, so it will take, so let's give a time. So a time should be given to all the learners to get accustomed with the courses. So for this today I end my discussion here. In the next classes I will discuss the rest of the unit, rest of the points, and till now stay tuned, stay happy, stay blessed. And also one more thing I want to announce, uh, graduation level classes will also be started in my same YouTube channel Shiksha Angan Senior. So learners, please don't get confused. Before, whenever I will upload my class video, I will clearly mention in the title that whether this class video is for graduation courses or master's courses. So no need to get worried, and very soon the graduation level classes will also get started, and simultaneously masters classes will also be continued. So till then, stay tuned, stay happy, stay blessed, and give a like to my video. And how is the class, please write in a comment so that I can improve myself, and your feedback is equally valuable for me so that I can think more innovative way to make your learning quite easier. Till then, stay tuned, we will meet in the next class. Thank you. Welcome to the classes of Shiksha Angan Senior. So from yesterday onwards, we started, a new journey has been started. It is master classes of master's program for IGNOU students, MA education, and those who have already taken admission, so they can go through these classes, and those who haven't took admission yet, please take the admission as soon as possible. Although the admission date extends in the IGNOU, but still now it is better to take early admission as early as possible, so that you will it will be better for you if you take admission early, so that you can get a time for study and for exam preparation. So a burden will not come upon you if you took the admission early and start studying each and every courses in a regular basis until the availability of handmade of the hard copy of the study materials. So let's start our today's discussion. So yesterday we started the chapter Concept and Scope of Educational Technology from course code MES 056, Educational Technology, Block 1, Unit 1. So in the yesterday we discussed up to the three approaches of educational technology. What are these? What are those three approaches? One is input approach, uh, then system approach, and other one may be process approach. Whatever, input approach or input approach, system approach, and last one may be either process or output approach, whatever. So we discussed up to that. In the today's class, we will discuss about system approach to teaching. So yesterday we discussed about the three main approaches: input approach, system approach, process approach or output approach, whatever. So we discussed about that, the three main approaches. Now we will discuss about system approach towards teaching. So what is this system, parameters and cycles? So here there is the system approach to teaching frames the educational institute as a dynamic social system rather than isolated parts. Every piece works coherently to establish reliable performance metrics. So what we see in the system approach, under the system approach, the system approach to teaching frames frames the educational institute as a dynamic social system. As we all know that our society is dynamic in nature, that's why this system approach also helps to frame the education institute as a dynamic social system rather than isolated parts, rather than instead of presenting it as an isolated part, its every piece, its every aspect works coherently for establishing a reliable performance matrix. So it works in such a way so that it can establish a reliable performance standard or a performance matrix. The next, what we see, continuous feedback cycles ensures objective adjustment can be made rapidly if the educational system does not perform up to expectation. So what systematic in system approach, what we see, the feedback system is continuous, and due to this continuous feedback it ensures an objective adjustment. It helps to adjust all the or everybody to the system so that uh, so if they get accustomed with the system, so adjustment will be made very rapidly. If the educational system does not perform up to the mark, or if it does not satisfy our expectations. So this is the system, parameter and cycle. Now next comes the four core elements of system approach. First one is input. In input, what we see, target students, entry behavior, teachers, curriculum, okay. Input, target student, entry behavior, teachers, curriculum, instructional resources. So by listening this term input, so you might relate these terms with the computer hardware, because we computer hardware systems, because we all are accustomed to know that input device, output device, etc., which is related to our computer and all sorts of electronic gadgets. So here, as a part of a four core element, here input is also the term input is also used in system approach to teaching. So in input, what we say, target students. Students should be targeted, their entry behavior, teachers, curriculum, instructional resources. These are the inputs. Next comes process. What things are mentioned in the process? Interactive teaching learning practices, experiments, classroom tasks. These are mentioned in the process. Now, this one thing I also want you to tell that if anybody aspire to give UGC NET exam in the near future, you must learn there one thing. In your master's program is also there a curriculum evaluation model, that is CIPP model. So I'm just telling you the full form of the model, but you will get to learn about this model in the next, in another course code of your master's program. So there, C stands for content, I stands for input, P stands for process, and the last P stands for product. So this is the full form of the CIPP model. So in detail, you will get to learn about this in the next course code of your master's program. But till then, you just memorize up to this. Only the full form you memorize it. Okay. So let's move to the next core element. We discussed about input process. Now comes output. Now what is mentioned in the output? A change in terminal behavior, student accomplishment and skills. These are mentioned in the output. Change in terminal behavior, because if you notice any changes in behavior, that behavior should be changed. If you noticed any mismatch in your behavior, so that should be changed constantly, that should be modified. Because if you don't modify the behavior or mislead which you notice in the behavior, if you didn't modify it, then it will raise a problem in the near future. So that changes must be brought in the behavior. Student accomplishment, a notice should be kept on student accomplishment and their skills. Last but not the least core element, that is feedback and control. Evaluation loops that prompt revision and redesign. So now what we see in the feedback and control, you see that evaluation loop, after doing all the processes, after conducting all the processes, last step which comes, that is evaluation. So an evaluation must be done in each and every step. After the end of any activity, an evaluation is done. So here also evaluation should be done, which prompts revision and which will help to prompt the revision and redesign. Because if you do evaluation by following the norms and regulation, then you will get to know that whether you have done any mistake, or whether you need improvement, or whether you have to make a modification on any activity. So you will get to know about this if you do evaluation properly. So evaluation is very, very important after the end of any activity. Now let's move to the next point. Teaching, instructional and behavioral technologies. Here the parameters are mentioned: parameter, teaching technology, instructional technology, behavioral technology. The first parameter which is there is exponents. Teaching technology: Harbert, Morrison, Hunt, Gagne. So Harbert, Morrison, Hunt. So you will get to know these three names in the three levels of teaching, that is memory level, then understanding level, and the next one may be a reflective level. So in these three level of teaching, they are for memory level, understanding level and reflective level. If you read in detail, then you will get these three names: Harbert, Morrison and Hunt. Apart from that, the name of Hunt, Robert Hunt, I don't know the full name, I can't remember now, but maybe Robert whatever Hunt, he is a proponent of reflective teaching. And Robert and Gagne, the name of Gagne, this name is associated with the Gagne's hierarchy of learning. You will get to learn about this in detail in the next course, or if you study or if you pursue B.Ed in the near future, there also you will get to know about this name, because in B.Ed also levels of teaching, a separate chapter is there about the three levels of teaching, and also in another chapter there is also mention of Gagne's hierarchy of learning. And not only that, in UGC NET exam also question comes from UGC NET paper 1 teaching aptitude, and specially question also comes from these three names: Harbert, Morrison, Hunt, that understanding level, reflective level, memory level. And question also comes from Gagne's hierarchy of learning. So you will get to learn about this in detail in the next course code. Okay, these are the teaching technology. Instructional technology: Skinner, Glaser, Crowder. Skinner, B.F. Skinner, as we all know the name. In case of maybe conditioning or classical or operant, whatever, I can't remember now. As theories are also mentioned in each and every courses of, in each and every level of education, especially from UGC NET. In UGC NET exam, question also comes from Skinner, and Skinner's theory is also there. Graduation level, in master's level is also there, B.Ed level there is also there, and UGC NET exam also comes question from the Skinner. Next comes behavioral technology. Again here Skinner, Flanders, Amidon. Flanders, so Flanders that FIACS, Flanders Interaction Category, FICAS maybe, that full theory of Flanders. Flanders Interaction Category of Analysis, or some name is like that. So 10 steps was there, Flanders. That is also equally important for you to for your study, not only in the master's program but also it will help you a lot in the higher study also. Next comes objectives. Teaching technology, cognitive, affective, psychomotor. This cognitive, affective and psychomotor, these are the three domains of these three domains are mentioned in the Bloom's taxonomy. These are the three main domains of Bloom's taxonomy. So you will get to learn about Bloom's taxonomy in the latter courses. Instructional technology, cognitive development focus. As an instructional technology, focus is given on cognitive development, and behavioral technology again is cognitive, affective, psychomotor. Teacher's role. Teacher's role. In case of teaching technology, teacher plays the role of manager and facilitator. In case of instructional technology, teacher plays the role of a helper or a structural planner. And in case of behavioral technology, teacher acts as an interaction analyst and modifier. Now foundations. In teaching technology, there is philosophical, sociological foundation. In case of instructional technology, there is psychological and scientific foundations. In case of behavioral technology, there is psychological and cybermetrics. Cybermetrics, this term is, although it is new, quite newer to you, but although we use the term cybermetrics in every aspect, but you will get to learn in detail slowly. So nothing to get worried about that. Now next comes methods. In case of teaching technology, the methods is level of understanding and reflection. In case of instructional technology, linear, branching, programmed text. And in case of behavioral technology, there is micro teaching and simulation. This micro teaching and simulation, although much details are not mentioned in your master's course, but if you pursue B.Ed, especially in education, in the near future, then there you will get to know about micro teaching and simulation in detail, because I know why I'm telling you this, because in my B.Ed course I read this chapter, micro teaching and simulation, and one practicum has also been conducted in this micro teaching and simulation in my B.Ed second semester. So there in micro teaching and in case of simulation in both, there is a practicum work, a paper work is also there, and not only that, simultaneously you also have to perform a micro teaching, a small 5 to 10 demo class also goes on in micro teaching. So that's why I'm telling you about this. But in your master's program, I think nothing as such mentioned in detail about micro teaching and simulation, but you will get to learn about this if you pursue B.Ed in the near future, or if you give any sorts of competitive exam related to teaching. There we will came to know about micro teaching and simulation. So in methods, the behavioral technology is micro teaching and simulation. Now let's see the next point. Okay. Next comes Edgar Dale's cone of experience. Experience cone. Edgar Dale's cone of experience. Now, there is an experience cone of Edgar Dale. I will show you an image of Edgar Dale's cone of experience in a short video. If you watch that video, then you will get a clear concept about Edgar Dale's cone of experience. So, what is mentioned here? Now let's see what has been said in Edgar Dale's experience code. How educational experience shape human retention. What is mentioned that how educational experience help to shape human retention. So it is mentioned in a percentage form. Uh, so you don't need to memorize the each and every percentage of learning activity, because remembering the percentage, it will become quite difficult for you. So I'm just telling about the percentage, but if you want to learn it in detail, then you just go through the notes of that notes and the image of Edgar Dale's cone of experience. So if you learn that, the concept will become quite clearer to you. Let's see. 10% of what people read, verbal text only. First point which is mentioned here is verbal text. What people read, what we read is mentioned as verbal text. 30% of what they see, images, graphs, write. 30% is there, that is what we see, what we visualize, like image, graph, slides, etc., etc. 50% of what they hear and see, interactive video, exhibits. 50% is allotted for what we hear and see, what we hear from our ears and what we see through our eye, like any sorts of interactive video or any sorts of exhibit, etc. 70% of what they say and write, collaborative design, workshop. Now 70% is allotted for what we say or what we write, like any collaborative design, for making any sorts of collaborative design for a particular topic or for a subject matter, or any sorts of workshop conducted on any issues, whether it is any workshop on whether on any educational program or any sorts of current or trending affair, whatever. 90% of what they actually do, simulation, real world execution, and 90% is allotted for what we actually perform or what we actually do, like simulation, real world execution. Means real execution of any problem by hand or by in a practical way, that percentage is allotted for this activity. Now let's see the next point. Next comes Bloom's taxonomy relationship. Bloom's taxonomy. Although this Bloom's taxonomy is quite bigger because three domains are there, as I've already discussed in the previous uh, point, that cognitive in a different way. It is mentioned as a part of a parameter, but I've told you in the previous point that this cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, these three terms are associated with the Bloom's taxonomy. Now let's see the taxonomy framework. Now what are the taxonomy framework, which is prepared by Benjamin S. Bloom? Let's see. Benjamin S. Bloom's hierarchical categorization covers three vital human domains. Now the taxonomy, which is prepared by Benjamin S. Bloom, covers three vital domains. Now what are these three domains? Number one, cognitive, knowledge. Under that cognitive domain, there comes knowledge, comprehension, synthesis, and evaluation. Okay. Side by side, I also want to mention one thing, that this in the cognitive domain, that is there mentioned knowledge, comprehension, synthesis, and one point is missing: analysis and evaluation. This is the these points are designed was there in the old Bloom's taxonomy. The Bloom's taxonomy, which was designed at the very first, previously, that which was designed, there these points were available. Knowledge, number one is knowledge. Number one, knowledge. Number two, comprehension. Number three, synthesis. Knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. These 6 points were there in the old Bloom's taxonomy. But now these Bloom's taxonomy are not used at all in case of any educational activity. Now, in present scenario, revised Bloom's taxonomy are used. What are these revised Bloom's taxonomy? One is, first is remembering, second is understanding, third is applying, fourth analyzing, fifth is evaluating, and sixth creating. Once again I repeat the revised Bloom's taxonomy. You just know the points. You just note it down, the key points, key terms. In the next unit of other course code, I will discuss them in detail, and I will also share notes about this revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so if you watch this, then your concept will become clear. First one, revised Bloom's taxonomy. Listen very carefully. I am telling the revised Bloom's taxonomy, not that previous old Bloom's taxonomy. In the revised Bloom's taxonomy, in cognitive domain, first one is remembering, second one understanding, third one is applying, fourth one is analyzing, fifth one is creating, and sixth, no, sorry, I told you wrong. First one remembering, second one understanding, third one applying, fourth one analyzing, fifth is evaluating, and last is creating. So you notice one thing, in revised Bloom's taxonomy, in all the words, all the terms which I mentioned, it is ending with ing, a verb form. But in the old Bloom's taxonomy, all the terms are written in the what? Noun form. So this is the basic difference between the old Bloom's taxonomy and the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Just nothing else. Okay. Next comes affective domain. In affective domain, what is mentioned? Values, belief system, receiving and responding. And in psychomotor domain, physical movement and tactile skill development. Physical movement and skill development, these are mentioned in the psychomotor domain. And in affective domain, values, belief, receiving, responding, these are mentioned in the affective domain. Now next comes synergy with Dell's cone. Now what are the synergies? The action verb representing Bloom's domain map perfectly to Dell's model. The action verb represents the Bloom's domain map perfectly to Dell's model. How? As teacher transition classroom design. Teachers transition classroom design from simple reading activities towards multi-sensory simulation. They elevate learner outcomes from simple memorization to critical analysis, creative synthesis, and autonomous performance. So whenever a teacher transits its classroom design from simple reading activities towards a multi-sensory simulation, they elevate the learner outcomes. They elevate the outcomes of the learner from simple memorization to critical analysis, critical thinking, creative synthesis, and an autonomous performance. So this is the synergy with Dell's cone of experience and Bloom's taxonomy. Now let's see the next point. Okay, now comes IPO model metrics and action step. There, 3 integrated phases are mentioned. IPO, input, process, output. Now, previously, what I said that we notice this term input, process, output. In case of computer, we say input device, this keyboard, mouse, joystick, etc., etc. We all know this, and it is very common to us. As an output device, we say monitor, printer, etc., etc., projector, and other output devices. So here, this IPO model is based on 3 integrated phases. Now, what are the essential IPO components? Input optimization. First is input optimization, correctly analyzing entry behavior, student motivation levels, and technical competencies. So in input optimization, here entry behaviors of a learner is analyzed. Student motivation level of the student, and the technical competencies of the student are examined here. Next comes process control. Here, structuring of systematic presentation, then selection of appropriate techniques, and utilization of multisensory teaching learning aids. These are done in process control. And in output evaluation, now last comes the output evaluation. It measures the changes in terminal behavior. Measurement of changes are done in case of in terminal behavior. Validating content delivery, validates the content delivery, and establishes clear performance measure. These are done in output evaluation. Okay. Now next comes scope and function of educational technology. So till now we all discussed about what is education, what is technology, what are the approaches towards educational technology, what are the parameters, dimensions, etc. Then Bloom's taxonomy, Edgar Day's cone of experience. Then this is IPO, input process output model. And now we will discuss about the scope and function of educational technology. Now what are the scope and functions? First is curriculum design. It structures local logical learning units which systematically fulfill educational goals. In case of curriculum design, education technology helps to structure the learning units which systematically helps to fulfill educational goals. Second one is teacher preparation, utilizing micro-teaching, simulated training and interaction analysis to optimize teacher competency. So in teacher preparation, it utilizes micro-teaching, which I discussed in the previous point, simulated training and interaction analysis for optimizing teacher competency. Here interaction analysis, we as I told you, the Flanders interaction analysis, that 10 steps are there, so that you will get to know in detail in the next classes or in any other course code. Then next comes material development. Material development, producing print, manual, individualized, self-instructional module and digital courseware. Produces print, manual, individualized, self-instructional module and digital courseware. This also helps. This function is also played by educational technology. Next comes evaluation and assessment. It formulates digital rubrics. So you will, a question also comes from rubrics in the UGC NET examination. So if anybody wants to compete for UGC NET exam, they will come to know about rubrics in that chapter, because rubrics basically is designed for the purpose of evaluation. For evaluation purpose, rubrics are used. Then continuous evaluation tools. Continuous evaluation tools are used, and quick feedback frameworks. Quick feedback, and helps to build a quick feedback framework. Now, okay, so this is the end of our first unit from block 1, educational technology, concept and scope of educational technology. In the next class, we will discuss another one course code of IGNOU's master's program. Then till then, stay tuned, stay happy, stay blessed. And how you feel by watching, how is you feeling by watching today's class? Please make a comment. Please say it in a comment, and also give a like to the video. And simultaneously and subsequently, those who haven't joined my YouTube channel Shikshangan Senior, please do subscribe the channel, and you will get updates about classes. And if anybody miss yesterday's class, they will get the updates of my classes in my YouTube channel Shikshangan Senior. And also you can also search in YouTube by searching Shikshangan Senior playlist, MA Education playlist. In that playlist also you will get the video of the classes. Till then, stay good. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.